Hello, hi, welcome. MSJVR is my initials, but you can all call me by my nickname, which is Nika. Today, I'm going to be doing a full face of makeup, but not just any kind of full face of makeup. I'm going to be doing a full face of makeup using old products within my makeup collection. But before we continue, consider subscribing if you like the content and would like to stick around. Anyway, let's get on to the video. Anyway, so as I said, I'm going to be doing a full face of makeup using old makeup products within my makeup collection. But the reason why I say old in quotation marks is because some of them are genuinely old. For example, I have eyeshadow palettes that are 5 years old or older. And yes, they're still in my makeup collection because I believe that powders do not go off as much as liquids do. So yes, so you will see some very old products that are from my makeup collection, but you will also see a lot of products that I constantly repurchase. So for example, there's some makeup products that I've had in my makeup collection for years. Like every time I finish one up, I always buy the same product afterwards. So yeah, I hope that makes sense as I'm gonna go through and put these makeup on my face. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna go and zoom into my face and we're gonna go and start off with my eyebrows. Okay guys, so I've zoomed you all in and I'm gonna do my brows first. But for the longest time I've been using brow powders, but I actually don't have a very old brow product because I think I threw them away. Okay, so we're gonna be using this brow kit, which is technically the oldest product within my makeup collection as to date. So this is the Superdrug by B brow contour kit. I have mine in the shade medium dark, so it comes with a highlighter, brow wax, and 2 brow powders. Okay, so we're gonna be putting it on my brows today. Okay, so I'm just gonna get a spoolie and I'm just gonna put it in the brow wax. I'm gonna run it through my brows. I'm gonna go in with the lighter color and put it through the front of my brows, I guess, and do it that way. It's not really hard to explain, but I'm going to be putting it through the front of my brows. Anyway, so now we're going to go in with the darker color and we're just going to put it on the ends of my brows and run it through the middle to the end of my brows with very light strokes. I'm also going to run a brow gel through my brows, and I used to use the Natural Collection clear brow gel and I still use this till this day. This is my second tube, so we're just gonna run it through my brows just to set everything in place. Okay, so my brows, they're not great, but hey, they're here to stay. I'm now going to go and put on some eyeshadow. So the first thing I'm going to be putting on is a eyeshadow primer. This is the only eyeshadow primer I have in my makeup collection, which is the NYX Proof It eyeshadow. So we're just going to put that on my eyelids. I've just primed my eyelids and I actually have 2 eyeshadows which are the oldest within my makeup collection. But the reason why I have 2 is because I genuinely have no idea which one came first. Like, I look at them and I'm like, which came first? The chicken or the egg sort of thing. Firstly, this is the Revolution Reloaded Marvelous Mattes palette. You probably have seen me use this a lot in my colourful makeup looks for the past, I don't know how many videos, but I usually really like using this palette. I think it's a really affordable colourful option. It's not the best colourful rainbow eyeshadow palette out there, but for the price I think it's pretty good. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's quite a few dips. I don't know if you can see, there's a lot of dips, so it just means I've been using this a lot. The other eyeshadow palette I do have, the other eyeshadow palette I have is this. So this is the Revolution Jewel Collection Gilded eyeshadow palette. So this palette came out in 2017 and it's actually a limited edition. And I adore this eyeshadow palette a lot. Like, look at those shades. It's a very neutral palette, but I love it because it has cream to powder formulas. It has a bunch of mattes but also a bunch of shimmers as well. So if you're not in the mood to use like a very, very creamy to powder metallic formula, you've got shimmer options. And I loved this color story when it came out. It was the only neutral eyeshadow palette that I owned at the time, and I still love this and I still plan to keep it and use it up as much as I can. Do I want to use both? That is another question. I could use both. I think I'm going to use both. So I'm going to use both of these palettes. So I'm going to be doing, I think I'm going to do like a nice colorful yellow look and then use this palette for like the accents of the eye look. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so before I actually go and do my eye look, I wanted to say as well that this eyeshadow palette, the Revolution Reloaded Marvelous Mattes, does not have shade names, but it does have numbers. So I'm going to be using primarily the shades 1, 2, and potentially 3, and then I'm also going to be using some of the shades within this palette as well. Unfortunately, because this is limited edition, this is discontinued, so you can't really get this palette anywhere. However, I'm sure you can find dupes for a similar color story to this. Like, this color story has been used so much over time, since 2017 till now, so yeah, you'll be able to find this color story somewhere in some eyeshadow palettes. So we're gonna go in with the shade, this orange shade, which is shade number 3 in this palette. And as you can see, I have like done a big dent in this palette. I love using this orange shade, especially for Halloween looks. It's like this is a great palette for doing Halloween stuff, just saying. And I've used it for a lot of more creative looks over on my Instagram, shameless self-promotion. I like using it for those purposes. So I'm going to be mixing these two yellow shades together, so shade 1 and 2. And then just going to blend it with like a brush. I don't know what type of brush this is, but a brush. It's kind of like a fluffy brush. I'm going to be putting some of these shades on my eyelids as well as my inner corner. I'm drawn to these 3. These are my 3 favorite shades, by the way. So Mesmeric, which looks like that, Alluring, and Fetch. So I want to just swatch all 3 on my hand so you can see a comparison. So this one is Mesmeric. This one's Alluring, this is Fetch. I think I'm going to use this one here, which is Alluring. And we're going to be putting it in the center of my lid to create kind of like a halo eye effect. So we're just going to do that. We're going to use a cake liner. So I'm actually going to put a little sun above the shimmer because it looks like the sun is reflecting on the water. The cake liners I use are these. So these are the Glisten Cosmetics split liners. So it has 2 shades, one that's kind of like a paler shade and one that's more like a luminous neon shade. So it's gonna be cool, it's gonna be great. So give me 1 second, you guys, whilst I go and get my equipment. Ooh, okay, so I've just dipped my brush in some water and we're gonna go in with the lighter yellow shade. Come on, get some on there, get some on there. And I'm gonna go and draw a sun if my hands are not gonna be too finicky. Okay, I'm gonna go in with my eyeliner. I'm gonna put a few birds. So put some black eyeliner to do little birds. So yeah, that is that. So what do you guys think of my sunset eyes? My literal sunset eyes. Like I drew sunsets on my eyes. So yeah, I think that's that. The eyeliner that I was using is this. So this is the Revolution Pro eyeliner. I don't actually know what it's called, but this is what it looks like. It looks like so, and they do still sell this eyeliner. So if you are interested, go get your hands on it. It's only £4, so it's there you go. You can still get this. But I've actually used up one of these before, and this is the oldest eyeliner in my makeup collection. So yeah, not this, but the product itself is technically been in my makeup collection for so long. So yeah. And I'm now going to go and put some winged eyeliner on. For context, you guys, I do not wear mascara or fake lashes because they irritate my eyes a little bit. In particular, mascara really irritates my lashes, and I kind of refuse to wear fake lashes because I'm scared to put glue in my eyes. So yeah, I just wanted to say that if you have never been here before and why you're wondering why I'm just going to be lining my eyeliner. If you're just wondering why I'm using eyeliner, that's the reason why. So you can always add fake lashes or mascara if that's your thing. No one's here to judge you, and I hope none of you are judging me for my makeup choices. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna put some eyeliner on now. That is my finished eye look, you guys. What do you think? Do you think it looks okay? I think I've done a pretty cool job. I didn't think I was going to do anything creative today, but yet here we are. So what do you all think? So these cake liners, again, are relatively new to my makeup collection. So yeah, these are just an added bonus because these are the first set of cake liners technically in my makeup collection. So technically these are the oldest and the first within my makeup collection. So it's fine. It's relevant to this video. Okay guys, so I'm now going to go and do my base. So this primer that we're going to start off with has been in my makeup collection for years. As in, like, I keep repurchasing it over and over again, and I think I've been buying it since it's been launched. So that's how old I've been using this product, I guess. Is that the right thing to say? But basically, that is how much I love this product and how long I've been using it for. So this is the primer that I've been using. This is the MUA Pro Base Oil-Free Primer, and I love this primer so much because, one, it says it's formulated for oily skin types in mind, and that's cool because if you don't know, I have very oily skin. This is a hydrating formula. This is water-based and silicone-free, and this is like a hydrating primer for oily skin. And I love it. In my head, it just feels like a moisturizer. Like a hydrating, oil-free moisturizer formulated for oily skin that's supposed to help with your makeup. And honestly, I have no idea if it actually holds up my makeup, but I love how it feels. And I love how it hydrates the skin without using anything that's too oily or makes me feel like it's too oily or greasy or slippery. Okay, so now I'm going to put some foundation on, and it basically had the same thing that happened with the primer in the sense of it became something I always repurchased and I always used and I always went to for the longest time. And sadly, this is discontinued. The foundation that I used to always go to, and it used to be my holy grail, which is this. So this is the B by Superdrug Cosmetics Flawless Matte Foundation. So Okay, so I have had so many memories with this foundation, even though unfortunately it is discontinued. But I used to go through this so much. Like, this bottle is like my 4th bottle of this foundation, so you can see that I've been using it a lot over the course of my makeup journey. But nowadays, when I do use this foundation, I realize it's a lot thicker than I remember it being. So so that just tells me when I was a lot younger, I used to wear a very thick foundation. When I was a lot younger, this to me was medium coverage. Nowadays, I would treat this as like a full coverage foundation, because my god, that's got full coverage. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's really, really thick to apply. And I used to use this all the time, like all the time. I think it's because partially, one, this formula really, really stood so well against my oily skin. Like, I would wear this for hours, and I mean hours. Like, I would wear this for like 12 hours from the beginning of my day till I go to bed. When I take off my makeup, I would wear it for that long, and my face would still look pretty good at the end of the day. So to me, this was such a heavy duty foundation. This foundation was like my first love into loving foundations. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be talking about is concealer. So these two are the oldest concealers in my makeup collection. So the first one I want to talk about is this. This is the Revolution Fast Base Concealer. I have mine in the shade C7. And the other concealer I have is the MUA Pro Base Concealer in the shade 146. And I love both of these concealers. These are not full coverage concealers, which is exactly what I want in a concealer. I'm not really the biggest fan of heavy, full coverage, in your face concealers. I don't know, I just don't think it suits me super well. We're going to be using the Revolution Fast Base Concealer. Okay, so we're now going to go and powder my face. So the powder I'm going to be using is the Revolution Baking Powders, and I'm going to be using mine in the shade Banana because the shade Banana is the oldest one that I have in my makeup collection, and I've depotted them into these pots. So we're just going to dip my brush in and just tap off the excess. I'm going to tap off the excess of my brush, and we're just going to lightly do that. The pressed powder that I have, that is the oldest in my makeup collection, is this. So this is the MUA Translucent Pressed Powder. So this used to be one of the only powders within my makeup collection at the time as well. So we're going to be using this. I love their newer formula one, which is the MUA Pro Base Powders. I love that powder so much, and it's only £2.50. This is £1 and you can still get it, and I think it's also cruelty-free and vegan now. I know the brand was transitioning to be vegan at the time. I was there basically from when they weren't vegan to now being 100% vegan, so I don't know if this is vegan for any vegans out there, so just letting you know now. But you can still get this product, and it's only £1. It's not the best powder in the world. I think it's a really, really good powder for the price. It's decent, decent for £1, and I think it's pretty good, especially in combination with this foundation. So yeah, that is the powder that I am using for today. Okay, so the next product we're going to be putting on my face is bronzer. So, long story, I bought this thinking it would match me, and I think at the time NYX Cosmetics weren't being sold in the UK. I think, or at least they weren't being sold in Superdrug or Boots at the time. And I remember going into B&M because B&M had like W7 makeup in there and little other makeup brands scattered in the shop, and they had a foundation powder, and in my head I was thinking, oh my gosh, that's perfect, I have oily skin and it's going to give me some nice coverage, it's going to be great. So I bought it, keeping in mind they only had a couple of shades in store, and they were in those like packaged plastic packaging, and I went, right, this one seems to be the closest match to me. Little did I know, this was not going to match me at all. I think it was a little bit too neutral, and at the time it was also slightly too dark. So little old me realized that when I first got this product, and you know what I did? Because at the time I didn't have a bronzer either, and I didn't have a contour or anything like that, so I decided to use this as a bronzer and contour, and I still am using it till this day. I've been panning it, so I don't know if you guys can tell. I have repressed it because it broke, and I've been trying to finish this up for the past 5 years or so. I think more than that now. It's been over 5 years since I've been using this product. But yeah, I've been trying to use this up, and to this day anyway, I still love this as a bronzer. It's just a nice subtle bronzer because it's, I think, literally like 1 or 2 shades darker than my actual skin tone. So it worked beautifully, and it just looks amazing, and I've been loving this bronzer ever since I was really young, when I started going into makeup, which was like 5 or 6 years ago. And I'm still using it till this day, and I'm trying to finish it up actually. I'm really close to finishing it up. There's not a lot left. I had to repress it so I can use it better. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. And also, look at how beautiful this bronze is. Anyway, I also wanted to say as well, this blush, I'm going to be using it in the shade Rose Tea. It's a little bit more pinky, a lot more pinky peachy than I wanted it to be, because of course my eye looks very, very orange. I would prefer to have used an orangey blush, but that was not what I was into when I was a lot younger. Also, this is still available in the MUA website and on Superdrug, so if you are interested in the blush, blend it out. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be putting on my face is my highlighter. And I love this highlighter palette so much, and you guys have probably heard me rave about it before if you've been here on my channel. I love this highlighter palette. The sad reality is this has been discontinued a long time ago, and it makes me very sad because I love it till this day, which is this highlighter palette. This is the Revolution Radiance highlighter palette, and this was when Revolution was literally only starting out as a brand. They literally were just launched in Superdrug stores, and when their packaging used to look like this. That's how old this palette is. The palette itself isn't technically that old. This is actually my second palette. I actually finished up one of these before. I think I finished up one of these last year. I don't care if it's repackaged or anything. If they just came out with something that was similar to these, I'd be over the moon. I'd be over the moon, you guys. But this is the Revolution. So yeah, this is the highlighter palette in the shade Radiance. And they had loads of other palettes at the time, and I also am applying it in the same way I always used to apply it, which is with an angled brush. Like, I don't know why, but I liked highlighting with angled brushes, and I always have done, even when I was a lot younger. I don't know, it just looks better for me. And I don't know if you guys can see, but look at that glow. Like, compare it here. That's my natural glow, and look at that glow. And you know what's fantastic about this highlighter? It's super subtle. It's super subtle, and nowadays I realize that I love super subtle highlighters. I think I just grew up loving super subtle highlighters. And don't get me wrong, I had my moments where I loved the blinding, in-your-face highlighter, almost like high-vis jacket level construction worker highlighter. But in general, I loved and always have loved subtle highlighters. Because I don't know, it just looks beautiful, and as someone with oily skin, I don't like things to be too bling because my oils would just make it look weird, and I just always loved this highlighter so much. It's always been my favorite highlighter. And funny story, this was actually my first highlighter palette that I bought. So at the time, when I was starting to get into makeup, Revolution again was literally being sold in Superdrug stores like I've never seen them before, around about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. Was it around 5? I think about 5 years ago. It was about 5 years ago. So I've never seen this brand before in stores. So, and at the time I was beginning to get into makeup, and I saw how pretty these were. Like, I looked at it and was like, oh wow, these are so pretty. And I go up to the cashier and basically I saw the price and it was like £5. And I was like, oh, that's super affordable. I'm gonna go and like buy this right now. So I went up to the cashier and like I gave all like the makeup I wanted to try out to the cashier at my local Superdrug, and she goes, oh, okay, so the price is this amount, right? But in my head I calculated it and it was a lot more expensive than I thought it was. And I was like, oh, because in my head I was thinking, like, I thought it was like this, like, why is it that expensive? Like, I calculated this in my head. But me being too shy, I was like, oh, okay, I'll pay for this price. So I paid for it, and I realized this was actually £8. So me being like 15 years old with like, of course not working or anything, like in my head I was like, oh my gosh, that's so much money for like a highlighter palette. Because again, like at the time I was only starting to get into makeup. But that accidental purchase of me buying this palette the first time is the best thing I've ever done to myself. Okay, so before I do my lips, I'm going to go in with my setting spray. So I'm going to be using the Revolution Matte Fix Oil Control Setting Spray. This is my second or third one of these products, because again, when this was first released, this was the setting spray that I used to use all the goddamn time. It was the first one I ever bought, and I still use it to this day because I think it's quite decent for the price as well, and I like how it makes my skin look and how my makeup looks at the end of it. So okay, so the oldest lipstick in my makeup collection are these two lipstick formulas. So the first one I want to show you is this one. Who remembers this packaging? Who remembers when Revolution came out with these lipsticks in this packaging? My god, that was so long ago. This is the Revolution Renaissance lipstick. Some of you will recognize that name. But these were the Renaissance lipstick in the shade Vow. And that's what it looks like. Let me just swatch it on my hand. That's what it looks like. The other lipstick I was talking about are these. If you haven't seen my previous video, but these are my holy grail lipsticks. These are the Revolution Pro Supreme Matte Lip Pigments. Unfortunately, these are discontinued. But if you've seen my makeup collection video, I have almost every single shade from that range because they are my favorite lip formulas. And those are like the only things I collect. It's gorgeous. This one's in the shade Affection, and I bloody love this shade. Oh my god, look at that. Look at that. I'll stay. This one is in the shade Illusion. This is my other favorite shade from the collection. So that's Affection, that's Illusion. I love both of these so much. Swipe it on. Oh, I love this color so much. It's in the center. Oh gosh. Okay, so this is the finished look, you guys. What do you think? I have recorded some extreme close-ups of my face, so hopefully it looks okay. I apologize if the lighting does go weirdly. For some reason, when I zoom in super close, the ISO and the exposure decides to really ramp up and really overexpose my face to the point that I look too pale for my actual skin tone. So I apologize in advance if that's weirded you out a little bit, but that's just, I think, my camera setting, so hopefully I can change that for next time. But yeah, what do you all think of my makeup? I have not worn this heavy amount of makeup in a while. Yeah, I'm really happy with the outcome of my makeup. But yeah, I struggled to film this video the other day, and I decided to film it today. And I'm so happy I did. I'm so happy that I was able to refilm this. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you guys did like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below, what is the oldest makeup product within your makeup collection? And do you have any makeup favorites that have been discontinued? Let me know. And finally, you guys, consider subscribing if you like the content and would like to stick around. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye!